This is VOA News via remote. I'm Tommy MacNeil. U.S. President Donald Trump is warning that the country would see a lot of death ahead of the U.S. and as it moves into what he says is the toughest weeks with the coronavirus. At the same time, the president is expressing growing impatience with social distancing guidelines and says he's eager to get the country reopened and its stalled economy back on track. The number of people infected in the U.S. has exceeded 300,000, with the death toll climbing past 8,100. More than 3,500 of those deaths are in the state of New York. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says the Chinese government is facilitating a shipment of 1,000 donated ventilators to his state. The move highlights the extreme measures leaders are taking as they try to independently secure enough of the life-saving devices. Cuomo says the U.S. government stockpile of medical supplies will fall short. But President Trump says that his administration is assessing which areas have the most need and that every decision is meant to save lives. A hospital has been set up in Central Park, part of the front line as New York battles the coronavirus, which has now killed more than 3,500 people. Samaritan's Purse, an international Christian relief organization, deployed its emergency field hospital and disaster response specialists to the city, including doctors, nurses, lab technicians, and other support staff to set up the field hospital in Central Park. Health experts calculate that New York, home both to bustling Manhattan and hilly farm country stretching to the Canadian border, might be around a week away from the worst point in the health crisis. Again, a hospital has been set up in Central Park, part of the front line as New York battles the coronavirus, the hardest hit in the United States. This is VOA News. U.S. President Trump on Saturday continued his criticism of the company 3M, saying that 3M has not treated our country well. On Friday, 3M said that the White House had ordered it to stop all shipments to Canada and Latin America of respirators that it manufactures in the United States, despite what 3M calls significant humanitarian implications. Canadian officials blasted the move by the Trump administration to block 3M's export N95 respirator mask for use by doctors and nurses. 3M said on Friday it would make more N95 respirator masks for the United States to fight the pandemic, but warned of the humanitarian implications of limiting supply to other countries as Mr. Trump has directed. Chinese health authorities reported 30 new coronavirus cases Sunday, including 25 people who had arrived from overseas. The other 5 cases were in southern China's Guangdong province, which borders Hong Kong. China has clamped down on international arrivals, banning most foreigners from entering and limiting foreign airlines to 1 flight per week. Having largely stopped the spread of the disease, the fear is that infected people coming from abroad could spark new outbreaks. The National Health Commission said that 3 more people had died, bringing the country's death toll to more than 3,300 as of the end of Saturday. Asian Americans are using social media to organize and fight back against racially motivated attacks during the coronavirus pandemic. A string of racist run-ins in the last 2 weeks has given rise to hashtags and online forums to report hate. FBI predicts attacks will increase as infections grow. Critics say that President Trump made things worse by calling COVID-19 the Chinese virus. He later said Asian Americans should not be blamed. Advocacy groups set up a hate reporting center that's received more than 1,000 reports from across the United States. President Trump is calling the ousted inspector general who handled the whistleblower complaint that triggered his impeachment a disgrace. Mr. Trump's sharp criticism of Michael Atkinson came Saturday in response to a question posed during the president's daily briefing on the coronavirus outbreak. Mr. Trump informed the Senate and House Intelligence Committees late Friday of his decision to fire Atkinson. President Trump told sports commissioners on Saturday that he hoped that their leagues and competitions, which have been suspended by the coronavirus, would soon be back on track and in action. As a later White House briefing, Mr. Trump said that commissioners from the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and Major League Soccer were among those on the call. He says he wants fans back in the arenas. Find more at voanews.com via remote. I'm Tommy MacNeil, VOA News.